As somebody looking to lose weight, you are bombarded with tons of information on the internet, but how do you separate the good from the bad? Well, you're in luck, because today I'm going to break down the 5 weight loss myths that are keeping you fat. Myth number 1, and that's thinking that you need to hate your diet. People hating their diet is arguably the number 1 reason why people fail their weight loss goals. The key to a successful diet and fat loss phase is eating food that you enjoy, because if you enjoy the food, you're more likely to stick to eating that food for an extended period of time, and you're less likely to give in to cravings if you're eating foods that you love. Weight loss is extremely challenging, so the key is to not make it harder than it needs to be. So don't force yourself to eat foods that you don't like, because I'm telling you right now from personal experience, you are not going to stick to that diet. There's only so much willpower and motivation that you have. At some point you will crack and you will eat everything in sight. Myth number 2, you have to do endless amounts of cardio. When somebody says they're going on a diet, what is the first thing that you think of? Cardio, and a lot of it. What if I told you that exercise only makes up for a very small portion of the calories burnt within a day? I know, shocker. What if I told you that the majority of your calories are just burnt by living? This is called your NEAT. It's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. These are the calories that are burnt just existing, doing everyday things like walking, going up and down stairs. So don't get tricked into doing crazy amounts of cardio, because they only make up for a small amount of the calories burnt within a day. So that 2-hour cardio session or that extremely intense HIIT cardio workout that you did probably didn't burn as many calories as you think. And if you're not careful, doing too much cardio can actually lead to you gaining weight, because it could lead to overeating. And that could be because of these 2 things. One of them being that you're eating back the calories that were recorded on your fitness watch or the cardio machine, which are just flat out wrong. Just don't listen to them. And number 2, doing a lot of cardio, especially in my experience, leads to elevated levels of hunger. The best thing to start out with is steady state cardio. It's cardio where you can hold a conversation with somebody without being too out of breath. And because it's not as intense, you're less likely to feel as hungry when you're done with it compared to something like sprints or HIIT cardio. Myth number 3, thinking that less calories means less food. Now, all over social media, you've probably heard this whole, to lose weight, you need to eat less and move more. While this is true to a degree, it's slightly misleading. In my opinion, when you're on a diet and fat loss phase, you want to actually eat more, not less. We want to be eating low calorie dense foods. These are going to be things like fruits, veggies, lean meat, stuff with a lot of protein in it, things that are packed full of fiber. We want to increase our satiety and fullness without increasing the calories too much. These things are a lot harder for the body to break down. Therefore, it's keeping you fuller for longer, because it takes a lot more effort for your body to break down that food. Myth number 4, thinking that you need to be in a deficit or that you need to be losing weight all of the time. If you're like me, when you're just starting out with your weight loss journey, when you're researching, you see calorie deficit this, calorie deficit that, exercise more, eat less. And when you're bombarded with so much of that information, it can create the illusion in your head that you just need to be doing all of those things all of the time. Being in a calorie deficit all of the time just isn't sustainable. If you keep going and going and going and going without any breaks, eventually you'll just snap. You'll give in to all of your cravings, you'll eat all of the food in sight, and you'll gain all the weight back, and you'll probably end up in a restrictive binge eating cycle. It is okay to have a break when you're dieting. Give your mind and give your body a rest. I know when I made this mistake and I was constantly in a deficit, I felt terrible. My mood was awful. I was horrible to be around. I was cranky. I had brain fog. Somebody asked me my name, I couldn't even remember it. At that point, I wasn't even living. I was just existing. Myth number 5, thinking that the numbers constantly decreasing on the scale is always a good thing. The scale is a great objective way of measuring your progress over an extended period of time. However, it does not tell you the full story. Here's the thing, the scale measures everything, not just fat. So if you notice that your scale weight is dropping very rapidly, then that could be a sign that you are losing muscle and not fat. So when we're going on a diet, the real goal is fat loss, not weight loss, because weight is everything inside of you, including muscle. We don't want to lose that. That's what gives you that nice aesthetic build that we're striving for. The consequence of me being obsessed with the numbers going down on the scale was that I lost all of my muscle, and over the past year and a bit I've been working hard to gain back that muscle that I had lost. If I had actually paid attention to what was happening, I probably would have a bit more muscle on my frame, and I could have spent that time building more muscle on top of what I had compared to starting from zero and then building it back up again. So my advice, don't always rely on the scale. Use other measurements like tape measures, progress pictures, how you look in the mirror, how you're fitting in your clothes, how you actually feel physically. Do you feel lighter? Avoiding these myths will give you the best chances of achieving your weight loss goals. But if you want to take your weight loss to the next level, I recommend you learn the 10 skills that help me lose over 40 pounds.